So basically, under the Digital Convergence Initiative, today we will be showing the payment layer interoperability using ModuLoop as a sample payment system. So the question is, what is DCI? Probably most of you know, but I'll just probably take a 30-second elevator pitch to what is Digital Convergence Initiative. Next slide, please. So Digital Convergence Initiative, it's a joint effort by USB 2030 members and non-members, governments, development partners for creating an interoperable digital ecosystem for social protection. So this we will be achieving by building consensus-based standards for interoperability between components involved in delivery of social protection services. And what we think it will help us to do is foster an ecosystem for innovation, reduce the time and cost needed to develop these interoperable systems, enable programs to mix and match components from different systems, and make the systems future-proof by design. So if you look at in the next slide, you will see that what are the typical systems that are involved. Next slide, Vijay. What are the systems that are at play in social protection program delivery? You have social protection program MISs, Management Information Systems, also known as Beneficiary Operations Management System, one of which is openIMIS, and you have many others in open source domain and provided by vendors. And these systems interact with multiple systems for delivery of these services, some of which are the ID platform, social registry, civil registry, and a payments platform. In today's session, we are looking at this interoperability interface between an MIS and a payment platform. As you will see in the next slide, please. This is some way by which you can connect with the Convergence Initiative to hear updates not only on the payment layer but other streams of work that we will be doing. Now bringing the focus on the payment layer. Next slide, please. So what we will be seeing in the next few minutes would be how a social protection MIS like openIMIS can talk to a payment system like ModuLoop, and what does interoperability entail at the business process, function process, processes level, data standards, and API level. And can we standardize these for different use cases, not only for cash transfer payments, but also for health insurance payments. So this is the study we will be doing. And we have Access Health International with Komal and Krishnan supporting us from Access Health, and Vijay and Michael from ModusBox supporting on doing this development work for the payment layer interoperability. So before we get deep into the technical system, we will just try to explain a use case where we see this would work. You've all heard about openIMIS and the use cases of health insurance, so this would be fairly simple, but I just want to highlight the three key institutions involved. You have an institution, a government institution most likely, which is providing a social protection health insurance program. And they have a social protection MIS, which is in the center, which could be a system like openIMIS providing this service, managing the beneficiaries of this health insurance program. The other key actor we have is the health insurance agencies, right, which are participating in this government's health insurance program, and they have their bank account in this bank, which you see on the bottommost left side. And the agency which we have called Health Insure is the insurance agency. The third important actor is the set of hospitals which have reached an agreement to provide services to these beneficiaries based on this insurance offered by these insurance agencies. So here we have a sample hospital called Welcome Care, which accepts the insurance policy provided by Health Insure, and Meena, who is a beneficiary of this National Health Insurance Program managed by Social Protection MIS like openIMIS, with her insurance card, visits a Welcome Care hospital. She gets a service, a procedure done in the hospital showing her insurance card. The hospital provides the service and then generates a claim for the services used by Meena, and you saw all those numbers in the previous slide by Duncan, how those different costs add up. This insurance claim against this policy provided by health insurance is sent to the health insurer and also sent to SPMIS, and these varies in different countries, the process it follows. But in the end, in the health insurance management system, you get all the claims that have been raised against this beneficiary Meena. Now, once this claim adjudication happens, we need to ensure that the hospital is paid by the services by the insurance agency. That is when the openIMIS system will trigger a payment request asking the health insurance agency to pay the insurance claim amount to the hospital, which it has validated. Once this payment amount is created, it goes through openIM interface to convert it into a format which the payment module can understand. What we are using is a Fire4 invoice, fast health information resource format is being used, which comes from openIMIS. openIM does the interoperability adapter component, which converts it into a standardized payment building block or Moja loop format. Once this component, which is operated and maintained by the SPMIS or openIMIS, verifies that the account details of both the payer, the insurance agency, and the hospital, it will approve the transfer request, send the request to the insurance agency, and based on this request, the insurance agency transfers the amount to the hospital, and this is facilitated by the Moja Loop switch. What we want to show in this demo and the description of the technical stack, which I will be showing in the next few minutes, is that this payment is triggered by a third party, which is openIMIS, which has validated the claims and is asking the health insurance agency to settle this claim by transferring the amount to the Welcome Care Hospital. We go to the next slide, please. And now I'll introduce you to Vijay, who is a solutions architect with ModusBox, and he would be explaining the technical architecture as well as showing an interesting quick demo with Moja Loop as the payment switch. Over to you, Vijay.
Thanks, Anita. Hello, everyone. This is Vijay Kumar, working for ModusBox as solution architect. I'm here to present a demo on the POC for making a transfer in the Moja Loop stack by uploading a Fire4 invoice. So before showing that, I want to cover some basic concepts in the Moja Loop. Here in the slide, you can see there are three players. One is Moja Loop switch itself and payer FSP, which sends the money. For example, a bank which holds the account of insurance company, and payee FSP, which receives the money. For example, a bank which holds the account of a hospital. So in a typical peer-to-peer transfer, payer FSP sends a trigger request, a transfer trigger request to the Moja Loop switch, and then switch forwards that request to payee FSP, and payee FSP receives the money. So this happens by multiple HTTP calls, sequence of HTTP calls. Yeah, this is the peer-to-peer transfer. And what is third-party transfer? So there is another player, third-party provider, which has some pre-agreed arrangement between the payer and third-party. And with that arrangement, third-party can request the transfer and asking payer FSP to trigger the transfer. So it can ask payer FSP to initiate a transfer. The remaining thing is just same as P2P transfer. That means payer FSP triggers a transfer and pay FSP gets the money. So this is the third-party payment scenario. So we are using the third-party payment in this demo. So let's see a technical architecture, the tooling we are using for this POC. So the services in the blue boxes are the existing services, and the services in the red boxes are the new services we developed for this POC. There is a mediator, which is openIMIS mediator, that converts the Fire4 invoice to the standard Mojaloop, not Mojaloop, standard invoice format. And the core connector there, it receives the HTTP call using that standard invoice format, and it can trigger the transfer by sending multiple HTTP calls using the third-party provider. And we are using Mojaloop testing toolkit here to simulate all these components. So to simulate Mojaloop switch and two DFSPs. So I am going to use the Postman, a HTTP client, to upload the Fire4 invoice to the openIMIS. And then I will show the transaction in the openIMIS console, a web UI. And also I will show the transaction in the Mojaloop testing toolkit web UI. And we can see the response in the Postman. So this is the demo. Let me go to the demo. Can you see my screen? A black window and white window?
Yes.
Okay. So here left-hand side is the Postman. It's a simple HTTP client. We can make a post HTTP request to the openIMIS URL using the content as Fire4 invoice format. You can see this JSON content. This is Fire4 format. And if we have a look at this, you can see the information about the identifier, a UUID, which is a payer identifier, like an identifier of insurance company. And if we scroll down here, recipient. So another UUID identifier, which can be an identifier of the hospital. Let's say Welcome Care Hospital. And there is amount here, total gross, which is $200. So if we upload this Fire4 invoice to the openIMIS, Welcome Care Hospital should get the money, $200. So let's trigger this. You can see the inbound notification here, received $200 and the balance got updated. So let's see this transaction in the openIMIS console. So this is the interface for openIMIS, and in this page, transaction log page, we can see all the transactions going through it, and you can see the recent transaction. Here the request body is the Fire4 invoice format. The transfer amount is $200, and the response is 200, which is success, and you can see the code is completed here. This is the Fire4 payment notice. So this is also the Fire4 resource. So let's see the same transaction in the testing toolkit. Yeah, so we have to put this testing toolkit in the monitoring mode to see the logs. So let's put it and let's trigger it again. Okay, I got another $200 and balance got updated. And you can see the sequence of HTTP requests flowing through testing toolkit. These are all the Mojo loop requests. And we can see the same completed status here, transaction status completed. So these are all simulated responses by the testing toolkit. And let's see the response to the original request in the Postman. So this is the response, and you can see the body is file for payment notice format, and the code is completed. So any questions?